There's no shot this is the president of the United States. I cannot believe the current president is so callous, reckless, and heartless when it comes to the lives of our U.S. soldiers. I want to play for you these clips of Donald Trump bragging about new statues, bragging about the Rose Garden, bragging about what he's building when he's asked about Iran and his plans in Iran. Earlier today, we learned that 3 U.S. service members died, and we know that Iran is continuing to retaliate across the Middle East. They are very intentionally striking U.S. bases, not only naval bases, but also air bases and Israeli bases, because Iran wants to inflict maximum damage on the United States and create a disincentive for us to strike again. In their mind, they said, hey, 6 months ago, we were too weak. This is Iran saying we were too weak in our response because the U.S. just struck again. So this time, we are going to twist Donald Trump's arm and make him concede that he will never strike us again. And that's what they're doing. More U.S. service members are likely going to die, and that came from Donald Trump's own mouth earlier today. There is a surprising level of callousness. I guess it's not surprising, but there is a unique level of callousness with the way that Trump supporters are speaking about the death of U.S. soldiers. Listen to Trump from earlier today.
Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen.
Now listen.
And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is.
The Trump supporters are being just shockingly callous about this. Check out Ambassador Mike Waltz, who immediately quote tweeted after the 3 service members died. Our Central Command announced March 1st, 3 U.S. service members have been killed in action and 5 are seriously wounded. And Ambassador Mike Waltz immediately quote tweets it and says, "Freedom is never free." Brian Tyler Cohen then said, 3 Americans died, and Trump's UN ambassador waves it off with some bullshit jingoism, saying freedom is never free. From the people who wailed about Benghazi for a decade, they are absolutely soulless ghouls. What a crazy way to handwave the death of multiple U.S. soldiers. It's almost as crazy as Trump literally just walking off when he's asked about the same thing. But really quickly, Laura Loomer said 3 U.S. service members have been killed in action as part of Operation Epic Fury. American heroes. God bless them and their families. And you know who this pissed off? Not only me, not only you, but Marjorie Taylor Greene. She quote tweeted it, and these are her words. She said, quote, "This bitch is celebrating the death of American military members and thanking their families for their blood sacrifice." I'm going to say that with a bit more oomph. Like, this bitch is celebrating the death of American military members and thanking their families for their blood sacrifice. That's how you're supposed to say it. Loomer lost 2 congressional races because nobody respected her or valued her enough to elect her. But this is who Trump takes late-night calls from and laps up her praise and worship. Marjorie then says, Loomer hated Charlie Kirk because he spoke out against war with Iran the same way that I do. War with Iran is America last, and we voted against it the same way voters voted against Laura Loomer twice. She then continues to go off on Laura Loomer and Trump at the same time because Laura Loomer is being callous. Like, listen, this is what you called an unforced error for the United States. Nobody drug us into this war. Nobody forced us to go into this war other than Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu. And due to this unforced error, multiple service members are dead already, and dozens more are likely to die. There was even a terrorist attack in Austin where 20 people were shot, and there are reports that that was related to this. So Donald Trump is unleashing chaos domestically and abroad, and they're just saying it's for some broader goal, some broader mission. Check out Anna Paulina Luna, who is currently live on MSNBC, just getting a grilling from Eamon, Catherine Rampell, and the rest of the panel. Watch this.
And again, it is not the intention of the U.S. government to invade. That is not what is happening. These are isolated, strategic, large-scale attacks. But again, there are negotiations that will take place, or at least open communication with the White House as soon as the president decides that he is willing or ready to talk. And that has developed in the last couple of hours. So that update will come hopefully later on this evening.
I'm sorry, you say it's not the intention of the U.S. government to invade? Did we not just invade?
We are not invading. Are you seeing boots on the ground there? Because I'm not. And I've been told directly by the State Department and the White House that that's not the intention.
I mean, we just killed the leader of the country. That's not okay.
Targeted strategic military strikes and invasions are two totally different things, according to military terminology.
They're calling it a war. The president has called it a war.
And targeted airstrikes
strategic strikes, and according to the White House, and I just talked to them and talked to the Secretary of State, strategic strikes are not war.
Really?
They called it war.
So if someone bombed America,
do you see
that
boots on the ground?
War? Oh wait, that makes no sense. So you're saying it has to be boots on the ground?
According to your own definition,
so that's your standard.
The regime of Iran has killed thousands of Americans and murdered them. So by definition, they've already declared war on the United States.
I know. I've had Shiite missiles.
And really quickly, this is important. I'm sure you've heard the phrase flooding the zone. One of Trump's top strategists coined it, and he said, if you overwhelm people with so much chaos, so many stories, they don't really know where to look. You can see that with Trump's corruption on a daily basis. That's why we are relentlessly staying on top of their lies. Most outlets can't, but you know who can? Ground News. I use Ground News. I lean on them to tell me the bias ratings of who owns what stories are getting buried, what stories are being ignored by a certain side. Left, right, center, it's all laid out. They tell you the bias of each publication, and even the blind spot feed alone makes a subscription worth it. The blind spot feed tells you exactly what your bubble is missing, which is very, very useful in my opinion. You got to know your blind spots. So here's what you can do. You can click on the first link in the description or go to ground.news/am. Either way, the top link in the description or ground.news/am will offer you 40% off their best features, their best plan, the one that I use. Again, top link in the description gives you 40% off. I want to give a huge shout out to Ground News. They allow these videos to be possible, and I want to give a huge shout out to you guys. Thank you all. First link in the description, and peace out.
I've had Shiite missiles raining down on me too. I know how terrible the Iranian regime is. We are not debating that they are a truly terrible regime.
It's such an easy concession to make. The Iranian regime is disgusting and despicable, but you can't just unilaterally and illegally go to war with country after country after country. And you know what the trick that conservatives are doing actually successfully on these panels is? Anna Paulina Luna is derailing the conversation with a definition of what war is, rather than having to defend 3 U.S. service members dying. That's what they're all doing on Twitter now. They're all trying to argue the semantics about what war is, when that's probably the weakest argument to have right now. I mean, who cares what you want to call it? 3 service members died and many more will die. 100 schoolgirls died and 20 people were shot in Austin. This happened in the last 48 hours due to the chaos brought upon by this administration.
What we're talking about is the standard for the commander-in-chief to commit our sons and daughters in the military to war. And going to war when it is in the national interest and making that case to America and going to Congress and getting approval for war. So you are saying this is a limited mission that is only bomb strikes, so there is no congressional authorization necessary. How is this different from when Joe Biden bombed the Houthi rebels in Yemen without congressional authorization and you oppose that?
There is a direct and imminent threat, I just stated, to American forces, and I outlined that both 2 cases.
Okay, so she's falling back on talking points now. There has been a debunk of the idea that there was an imminent threat to U.S. forces. It's very WMD-esque, where back in 2004, 2005, they'd say, you hate America if you don't support this war. That's what they're trying to do now. Here's Donald Trump. This is a stunning clip. Here's Trump getting asked directly about the war in Iran, what his plan is. And his response is to gloat about the new statues that were installed. I think he says, like, beautiful, beautiful statues. I'll try to turn up the volume for you all because it's a little bit glitchy on this clip, but you'll hopefully be able to hear it.
What are the objectives for Iran? President, who do you want to lead Iran?
He says unbelievable statues. And sorry, the glitchy audio is not something you're making up. It's just that's how it came through on CNN.
Mr. President! Trump us about Iran, Mr. President! We take questions on Iran! Mr. President, what's your message to the families of the service members who were killed?
What's your message to the family of the service members who were killed? He walks away after only making statements on his statues. Here's him walking away more. Wow, just walks off. You can hear someone yell at the end, "What's your message to the families of the fallen?" What's on his ear right there?
What's your message to the families of the fallen?
Look at the callous response from administration official after administration official. Trump just walks off. We have Laura Loomer saying stuff on Twitter that is even pissing off Marjorie Taylor Greene. And in fact, most of the Sunday shows today that are usually flooded with Kristi Noem and Kash Patel and other officials were just silent, incredibly silent. Instead, we have CNN senior reporters saying, hey, there was no indication that there was an imminent threat, meaning the national security justification being used by this admin is absolute BS. This is an important clip. Check it out.
Yeah, Caitlin, just like most of the administration's explanations for why now, why was this operation against Iran launched now, this briefing happened in private, but we're told that Pentagon briefers did make a stark acknowledgement, and that was that no, there was no indication that Iran was preparing to preemptively strike U.S. bases in the region.
That's very, very important.
In anticipation of some sort of an attack from American and Israeli forces. And that's something that senior administration officials had said on Saturday.
And it's good. Number one, it's good that Iran wasn't going to strike and hurt us, but it's bad that the administration is lying about that to use it as a justification. Let's end this off with the Trump tweet from 2012. Quote, now that Obama's poll numbers are in tailspin, watch for him to launch a strike in Libya or Iran. He is desperate. I'll let Trump have the final words there. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe. I love you all. Peace out.